What's up guys, Kevin Cage here with another crypto update. We'll keep this video short and sweet. We're going to run through some recent news and alts. First up, shared by Good Morning Crypto, so we have Pompliano discussing altcoin ETFs over on Fox.
Now you say you've got the next big bet. Share that with us.
Yeah, so if you look at what happened with the Bitcoin ETF, right? Bitcoin is an asset. It's now been accepted within Wall Street, and now people want to get access. I think that the next big run of equities is going to end up being in altcoin ETFs. And what I mean by that is forget which coin or which protocol, but the altcoin ETF issuers, I think, are going to have a great run over the next 2 years. I've made 3 bets here. I invested in Bitwise. I invested in a company called 21 Shares. And then the only publicly traded company is something called DeFi Technologies. And all 3 of these, they basically want to give people exposure to assets. They don't care which one you pick. They just want to make sure that it's easier for you to put money into this ecosystem, in this industry, and I think all 3 will do well.
So feel free to question his motives. We know he has a boatload of crypto. We all have vested interest and want crypto to do well, but he mentioned a company called 21 Shares. So we've covered this company a lot. They have existing exchange-traded products for a variety of assets. Cardano, we have Aave, Algo, Ethereum. Let's see, Algo's right there. Only 3 million AUM. We do know they have XRP with $50 million assets under management. And this is just an example of a variety of ETPs or exchange-traded products. And now with the Bitcoin Spot ETF approved in the United States, organizations like Fidelity and BlackRock, it's just a matter of time for us to see ETFs or spot ETFs for Ethereum and other top assets, including Solana, XRP, and more. So we know last time when Bitcoin broke into a new all-time high price, taking out its previous cycle high in December of 2020, a variety of assets ran, and Ethereum, being one of the largest assets, did over an 8x return after Bitcoin broke into a new high. So that was Bitcoin going from 20,000 to 69K. So I believe when Bitcoin pushes into a new all-time high price, we're going to see similar returns. Maybe they're diminished to some degree, but I still expect Ethereum and other assets to have that shot at creating a new high. We saw an 8x last cycle. A 300% increase would be a 4x right there. If we only got maybe a 3x right there, and if we only got a 2x from here, we'd be up there. And all 3 of those would be a new all-time high price for Ethereum, whereas Ethereum's all-time high price is 4,800. We can round it to 5K. Next up, Mickey B. Fresh sharing an 18-second clip of Brad Garlinghouse years ago.
Because they saw it as rather than having a smaller number with a very high price, they saw it as something. They wanted to be effectively a global reserve currency. I think the opportunity...
I'm also going to play 2 quick shorts that I uploaded a while back. So this is Brad Garlinghouse on the news years ago talking about the $27 trillion that is locked up in the Nostra Vostra accounts. I haven't heard much commentary about this from the company Ripple in years, but remember that just a couple months back, we also had him discussing with the former CEO of Medico, I believe, talking about the $10 trillion market for crypto custody by 2030.
So today there's $27 trillion parked at different banks around the world so they can make payments between each other. Our view is you can use a digital asset like XRP to do that in real time.
Macro environment around custody digital assets is expected to be close to $10 trillion by the year 2030. Inevitably, people are going to need a place to store those assets, and safe, secure, and they're going to need to be able to transfer them as well, having good on and off ramps, even a tokenization engine. Some of the work Ripple is doing around central bank digital currencies or CBDCs. I remember being on a call with one of the largest top 10 banks in the world, and they were asking us about could we help them with their custody. We weren't in a position to do that. And so when we think about that synergy, the ability to say to that existing Ripple customer, here's a best in class, going head to head, time and time again, and winning on the custody level, to be able to bring that product to them, I think is a great opportunity for the 2 companies together. So I'm really happy about it.
And we know that XRP hasn't taken out its previous cycle top all the way back in 2018, so we haven't seen substantial price action. We've seen tons of things like this. We can question, is this just marketing? Is this just hype? And after so many years, many investors are frustrated. Some of them have sold all of their bags to go into another asset, or some of them, and yeah, everybody has to do what's best for them. I believe XRP creates an all-time high price in the future, and I believe it's here to stay. It is a very large network, the partnerships, the connections are huge, and some people think it's one big conspiracy, to each their own. In the last cycle, when XRP was here, I thought we were finally going to all-time high prices, but we didn't. This is still looking like the structure of Bitcoin during this retracement of 2019, backtesting the exact same fibs, but for XRP we have it here, multiple bottoms on the 0.059. If we followed Bitcoin in the future, and I have no idea how long that takes, we would reach golden extensions. Bitcoin reached the 3618. And it did this exact same count. I believe in the videos I shared, it was on the weekly candle bodies, just showing the retracement to the 50% retracement near the 618. We can see using candle bodies, we got a perfect wick to the 702. So Bitcoin did this in 2019, crashed back down to the 0.059, and then eventually made its way to an all-time high price. And at this point, it taking so long, I just want to see price action. We talked about the $1.10 fair value gap that's still open, yet to even be retested yet. We have a variety of golden extensions. We know that Bitcoin actually reached the 3618, also bounced between the 1618. I would take anything at this point. But it's interesting in hindsight, looking at different weekly fair value gaps. And let me just zoom in so you can see it clearly. So we can see this first candle, this is a sell side imbalance, marking 2. The third candle, this was an open fair value gap. As we scroll over, this is a sell side imbalance. During big retracements, this can act like a magnet for price action. And instead of actually going into new highs, we can see perfectly the weekly candle body actually closed this imbalance. So that's why I consider these fair value gaps and sell side imbalances. You can see API3 actually blasted right through it. And even Ethereum, we still have huge imbalances down below, but sometimes these gaps never fill. And these gaps are scary, but notice we still had a huge bull run in Ethereum from its cycle low. From 2018 to its all-time high price, it did almost a 60x return. And so looking at Ethereum's fair value gaps today on the weekly time frame, we can see imbalances down below. We can see this one is still open down below, a buy-side imbalance. We came up here and closed this gap, and then notice this one is closed, so I do have to update that. And I drew this one a while back. I didn't call it or anything, and I didn't make any moves with Ethereum, but I want to show you the power and sometimes how these fair value gaps are respected. So we can see right there, marked, and we did close it almost perfectly with a wick. So right now we are rocking and rolling and pushing above. This was the highest weekly fair value gap I saw, but this one's closed. So I don't see any other open imbalances, and now we're pushing. Next up, for Hedera, so we know we did poke above 9 cents earlier today. It is still ranked #1 as the top chain with transactions per second. This website is realtps.net. HBAR is looking good here. We can see that we actually held this 21-week EMA. And if we zoom in here and draw a quick fib retracement from the swing low to the swing high right here, we can see that we got a nice bounce off of the 618 Fibonacci retracement. I would love nothing more to see HBAR start breaking out of this accumulation, taking out the previous highs at 10 cents there. We have right there, and then those previous wicks. If we get above 10 cents, I'm going to get a lot more excited and hopeful for a strong retracement this cycle. We shared previously when Bitcoin broke into a new all-time high price back in December of 2020, HBAR crashed for a little bit, did a double bottom, and did over a 20x return. At this time, the circulating supply for HBAR was substantially smaller, so I have to consider diminishing returns, but at the end of the day, Hedera's network is one of the biggest in the space they've been building throughout this entire bear, and I do believe in all-time highs in the future. Other alts really quick, I don't think I've really talked about on YouTube, like MAV. This is a super interesting dynamic AMM. I'm absolutely interested if we pull back. I did buy some a while back, sold for a 20% swing. But if we do, and I'm not sure we do, get a pullback to the 21-week EMA, also near these candle bodies, I'll definitely be buying some. Hopefully the weekly RSI pulls back for me because these charts just look really strong. Same thing for SWE. We actually surpassed the pivot. We have wicks up here near the R2 over $4. We have wicks for MAV around almost $2. The trend is your friend, and these guys look really strong. I didn't start paying attention till MAV about a month or two ago, but it's looking great. And I like comparing the all-time highs of previous AMMs and competitors for reference, and considering the inflation rate for MAV, I still believe that this gets on Coinbase and can do pretty well in the future. And me personally, I see a variety of assets at their lows. We've had others starting to wake up like GRT, and I just believe that a variety of alts go up. I've never seen Bitcoin hold above 50,000 while there's still alts sitting at all-time low prices. DeFi I have a little bit. I just expect this to be kind of like a big cup and handle, similar to projects when they launch like SWE and MAV. I think with the inflation, it might be a little while with this one. This is on the daily versus the weekly, but I believe that DeFi or D.Fi could be a big application in the future. I've been watching BitTensor take off, surpassing its R3, looking very strong. I have a small position in Wi-Fi, doing my research still because there are some red flags, but overall with these microcaps, we know with Bitcoin reaching an all-time high, they can do very well. Especially if we did follow Tau, Injective, some of these big leaders in the future, I don't see why we couldn't see some strong retracements. Wi-Fi is interesting because for a microcap, it's coming from a Web2 company that's been around for 10 years. I'm still doing more of my due diligence. I have a small bag, just a moon bag. Even considering the inflation this year of the supply maybe doubling by the very end of this year, this is a microcap. It hasn't reached 100 million, 500 million, or $1 billion market cap. And I've seen different accounts cover Wi-Fi early on when they first launched. Altcoin Daily did a video with them about 9 months ago, so it's super interesting. I've also seen Elon Trades cover this on Twitter. He's had tons of good picks, including Tau early on. So it definitely piques my interest, especially with how the chart looks today and where we're at potentially in the cycle. I just want to do a little bit more due diligence. I have downloaded the app. I haven't used the Wi-Fi token for, public Wi-Fi or the VPN or eSIM, but I'm interested in doing it. I've just seen some discrepancies, and I just need to do my own research. I'm not trying to spread FUD. I've just seen some people complain about how the data is stored, and they say they don't store data, but there's a spot where you can delete your data. So I just need to check that and see what's what. And then also in regards to, since this is public Wi-Fi, are they using a VPN? How secure is your connection, and is your privacy okay? And same thing for check, and shout out to Dread Bongo. He called Tau in 2022. I've seen him sharing more information about this. I was looking at the roadmap that was released. It's another microcap for DIDs, verified credentials, and the upside of the market, not necessarily check, but the upside of decentralized identity, check, Kilt, and these other verified credential type of platforms could be really big. What was interesting about Checked Network and the token check was that their organization ranked, top, I think number 60 in UK's top 100 startups. You can see it on Google, and the Checked YouTube channel has some good videos just breaking it down and explaining the network. But overall, we're seeing more alts draw stronger and stronger retracements. Chainlink taking out that first fair value gap, as you can see candle bodies on this level, getting another push up now at the R2. We can see this large weekly fair value gap as high as $24. And for anybody curious, these pivots, the actual indicator name, because I answered this the other day, just in case anyone wants to know, it is right here, pivots point standard indicator on TradingView. And then my settings are just this. So I do Fibonacci for the type, auto, and then I go back 300 pivots. So I like looking at the pivot and R levels because they can help be a leading indicator showing you different support and resistance levels. As you can see, this pivot right here was a back test, and sometimes I'll use them as targets. We can see we're at the R2 right now. All right, we'll finish up this video with a few more things. I have to get my second workout in for 75 hard. It never stops. So right here, for anybody, just friendly reminder, we do have tax season ending, so you can use TaxBitCoinly. This is linked in the video description for anybody curious to file your crypto taxes. I did post this on Twitter for instructions for anybody staking Casper as an example, so you can just kind of search this on Twitter and you should be able to find it. And I do have Coinly linked in the video description and in my link tree. If you scroll down, we can see right there tax tracking. And last but not least, we have iTrustCapital linked in the video description. If you use that link and fund an account, you get a $100 funded reward. So I've had a Roth IRA with iTrustCapital since January of 2020. It's not fun having crypto in a retirement account during a bear market, but during a bull run, it's absolutely the best. And the contribution limits for the tax year of 2023, because you can still contribute, is $6,500 if you're under the age of 50, and then $7,500 if you are 50 years or older. We know they have listed XRP, QNT, HBAR. I would just like to see a lot more assets as they get on Coinbase to be on iTrustCapital in the future. So I've covered different companies in the past. iTrustCapital is a success case. It became a unicorn company last valued at $1.3 billion. If they go out of business per the terms and services using a qualified custodian, I still get my funds. So I don't trust many things in crypto, but with iTrustCapital, I personally trust them. And I don't have my life savings with iTrustCapital, but I love the ability to trade 24/7, 365 with crypto for tax-free gains, paying 0% in capital gains. Hope you enjoyed. Huge thank you for watching, hitting the like button, and subscribing, and I'll catch you in the next one. If you enjoyed this video, I'd greatly appreciate if you could hit the like button, let me know your thoughts down below, and my link tree is linked in the top of this YouTube video description, with all links, crypto resources, and discounts. I'll catch you in the next one.